Can you believe it? Jerome Powell to the rescue. In today's video, we are going to talk about what the Federal Reserve has said and what they'll do. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you in today's video. We are going to have our focus initially on what the Federal Reserve has said. That's going to lead into next month of September, where you've got to be aware of the changes, not just what it signals for right then at that moment, but in the following month. So I'm going to break that all down. We're going to talk on what it means for you, the individual, so that you can be prepared, so that you can take action. I've been taking action for years. I've been talking to everybody on this channel who is willing to listen. I built so many different things for free, including Compass. On my website, Compass is available to everybody so that we can all get a foundation of knowledge, so that we can all make progress. We don't want to be stuck. We don't want to be running around in circles. No more delays. Let's begin right here. We are going to look at Fed Chair Powell indicates interest rate cuts are ahead. Quote, "The time has come for policy to adjust." Yes, that's what Jerome Papa Powell had said, and this was what they were waiting for. The markets have been waiting for this, and they rallied on the news. Now, what I would say to everybody is that you've got to be aware that it isn't just the fact that they said it, but they did. It's the fact that when they do their first cut, more cuts are likely to follow. When we talk about trading stocks, what happens here is that you have to work within a series of probabilities. And in this case, one cut means there's a higher probability of another cut coming. And that is very important, because what we have seen historically is that once they start, they don't stop. Now, some would suggest they're actually in a recession, and this is why they need to start cutting. They usually come at the same point. Unemployment starts to rise, interest rate starts to cut, all at the same time. For one reason or another, this is what they're doing. If we try to look at this and try to say, hey, they're not admitting the jobs numbers are correct, they're not admitting the right inflation numbers, and we can yell and scream all day long, but it's not going to put more money in my bank. I want to know what I've got to do as a result of all this garbage that they're telling us. So here we go. If you want to see the actual video, there will be a link in the description. At the bottom, it says sources used in this video. You can watch this to get the actual words themselves. Okay, so you don't have to take anybody's word for it, that you read a quote in a CNBC article. This is an actual clip of what he was talking about. And he basically just says inflation is on its way down to the 2% goal that we have, and that we're monitoring all the details of what's going on in the economy, blah, blah, blah. That's what he said. If you want it, it's there for you. Now, rate cut expectations, the markets will bet on these through swaps, through futures, and all that means fancy stuff for what the market believes, and usually the market tends to be accurate, which is pretty interesting. And so you can see it for yourself right here, where you're looking at rate cuts, what the expectation should be. It's not going to be, some have said, oh, we need 75 basis points. We need 50 basis points. Look, usually what has happened is that it's going to be at this 25 basis points or 0.25% cut. And then it remains to be seen. Will they do that cut at the next meeting, or will they skip a meeting? That remains to be seen, but the markets are betting that there will be cuts. So we'll see. As a result of that, this is New Zealand, by the way. As a result of this, you can see that the banks, the commercial banks, will start to react. But they react potentially in advance. But oftentimes, right after the news comes out, the banks go and they start to cut their mortgage rates, the amount that they're going to charge their customers to entice them to come and borrow. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. And despite what some would say about, look at the 10-year to understand what's happening. Don't look at what the central bank is doing. It's all about the 10-year. Why don't you look at what the central bank is doing, and you could ignore everything else, because they are the center of it all. Now, I describe this whole thing for 2 hours every Friday, more than 2 hours, every Friday on the Finance Friday Live. We go in depth, okay? But you get kind of a little snippet here. So this is just what I wanted to talk about, and then I'll bring that into the end, which is many of the facts that you've been seeing, that you've been dealing with, that I've been seeing being passed around out there, that people are struggling. Fast food restaurants fight to keep customers as food and wage costs spike. Restaurant owners are really stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're seeing the cost of the employees. Employees are saying, hey, I need a living wage. I need to get paid more. But then the employer is saying, I can't afford to pay more because our margins keep getting narrower and narrower. And that's happening all over the place. Doesn't mean that they're not making a lot of money, but certainly they're getting squeezed out. A lot of these businesses shut down. And then what? Well, then you don't have an income anymore, right? And so this is the problem. Nobody wants to blame the actual source of that problem, and it's the devalued currency, right? That's what's going on. Price gouging, it does happen, yes, but the source of the problem is the devalued currency. Shoppers are so scarred by inflation that they've cemented new habits to save money. Discount retailers are winning. You can look at the discount retailers, Costco, Walmart, dollar stores. That's where people are going more now than ever before, but because of inflation. The inflation's hitting people real hard. This is just one example in Canada where there's something called No Name grocery. No Name is part of a brand, okay? That's literally the brand name, No Name. But they want to create a store that's just focused around that because people need the cheapest possible stuff. They don't want the expensive stuff. They're choosing other types of products that are just going to save them money. They're not willing to spend on those maybe nicer products that might have, might be organic or might be something that's premium in a sense. This is talking about the unfortunate circumstances in many places, but California's problems are everywhere. Double income couples with good jobs are priced out of home ownership in Washington, homeless camps sprawl in Phoenix. The rent is too damn high in Kalamazoo. Okay, so everywhere it's going on where the prices are too high, devalued currency. You get the point of what's coming next is robots and automation, right? This is just one example, but robots and automation are the things that are unfortunately coming seriously fast. And so I have a few notes that I wanted to cover right here really quick because it's going to highlight what we've been seeing over the last while. Now, we have an inflated currency, we have devalued dollars, and of course, your disposable income is reduced as a result of it, okay? You're working harder, you're getting less. We are seeing that we're being squeezed in. We're being told you will own nothing and be happy. You've got all of that. So what I see is a few people controlling everything from the top, and we have very little left because it's just too expensive. This will happen in the next cycle. So the way I see it playing out is that we have a crisis at some point, okay? And they're going to make an excuse for cutting these interest rates and then eventually for printing money. Already the stock market is near the highest it's ever been. Already the real estate market is at the highest it's ever been, or near highest. And what are they going to do? They're going to cut interest rates, making it more affordable to pump that up. And then at the same time, they're going to inflate as much as they can at some point. Might take a crisis to do it. But if that's another 6 months, if that's another 2 years, if it's another 5 years, at some point, they are going to inflate this currency more than what happened in 2020 and beyond. That's the challenge that we have. So your currency, the way you have today is going to be the good old days in short order. All right. And then, of course, we are always trapped by a different system. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, they are never able to get out of that trap. So there's a couple things that I want to note. Number one, like I said, I have a free, 100% free course for everybody. themoneygps.com/compass. This is free for everybody. I had somebody message me through one of my Amazon seller things, and they basically said, hey, I want to work for you. I want to work for you. And the guy was basically just saying, I know I can do so much for you. I can make you money. I can do all this stuff. And I said, you got to learn a skill to be able to do that. You don't have a skill that I have. You need to learn these skills. And he said, okay, what do I do? What do I do? I'll work for you. I said, no. Start with my website. It's called Compass. Get on there. Now you got a base. Now from there, you have to figure out what skills do you want to acquire, or do you need tuning up on, or what skills do you already have that are valuable? And so I told the guy to go there. Then he goes, okay, I'll watch the videos. Now what? Well, now you have to figure that out, right? You can't be handheld. You can't be handheld all day, all along, because it's not going to work like that. Okay, but you get the foundation. I told him, now you have a foundation. Now you got to decide, where is it that you're going to apply your skills, that you're going to make money from. I talked to him about the different things that I do. I learned how to set up Google Ads. I learned how to get the Google Grant for businesses. I did that. It took me a long time to learn that, but now I have that skill and I could sell that skill. That's something that you need to understand. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to do this now. It doesn't work like that. In anything that you do, if you're becoming a handy skill, you have to put in the hours. It's just a matter of fact, right? For first thing, you got to upskill in some way, a skill that is very valuable to people. All right? Valuable to people. What is that? You're going to save them time, or you're going to save them money. You figure that out. And then the next thing is going to be mobile. As an individual, you've got to be mobile in this future where we're moving into a multipolar world, where people are saying, I don't like what my government is doing. I don't like what's happening here and there. Well, if you're not mobile, right, you're in big trouble. So that comes in two parts. You got an online business, there's no question about that, an online business or an online service that you provide, and then residence permits and visas. Now, that's one part of it. You get a residence permit, but if you had a job that was a 9-to-5 job and your everything you have is this in one location, and you did have a residence permit somewhere else, that's a plan B. You can always go should you need to, but now where's your source of income? Right? That's the problem. That's why I talk about online business. Once you get online business and now you're selling on multiple platforms, you're selling products or services, you could sell on multiple platforms and you could sell globally. So now you simply open up to the whole world, and that gives you peace of mind. That's what I teach on the Sunday Business Live. I teach people how to start an online business from the ground. Okay. No other businesses like this. Like you can't find this. You can't find a group like it just doesn't exist. It's more like simple questions, people asking the same basic questions over and over again. They're not actually like, okay, help me with my business now. That's what I do. It's a small group, and that allows me to do that. So if you want to do so, you can get more information at the link at the top of this description. But everybody should, if you haven't watched Compass, we're not friends, okay? If you've been watching this channel for all this time and you haven't watched Compass, you are not my friend, okay? And Janet Yellen will not come and visit you. You're not going to get any visits from Janet Yellen. And if you come to trick or treat to our house, Janet will not give you any candy, okay? I just wanted to tell you that. I appreciate everybody being here. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Hit that link in the description. Check out what I have to offer on the Friday sessions and the Sunday sessions. And I hope to see you there. Take care.